Hello and welcome to the Virtual News, a show where we talk about blockbuster films. Today's topic is the Star Wars film franchise. Joining me today via Skype to discuss this is a Star Wars enthusiast, Michael Fleming. Michael, how are you today?
I'm good.
Good, that's good to hear. So, I hear you weren't a fan of the most recent film in the series, The Last Jedi. As a casual moviegoer, I quite enjoyed this film. Could you explain to me why you didn't really enjoy it as much as other people did?
Well, for the whole movie, you could have saved so much time instead of explaining it so long-winded.
So would you say that was one of the main issues with the film? It dragged on the story longer than it should have done?
Not just that, it's that the portraying of the characters is not the way it was done by the books.
Okay. So, as a casual Star Wars fan, I've seen the films, but I don't know things like the books that are written alongside it to go with the films and add to the lore aspect of it. Would you care to go into what this adds to the storyline?
Well, for the storyline, it's that Phasma, one of the biggest enemies of the Star Wars in the most recent film, is that she killed so many characters in the book, but that is not even mentioned in the movie. And it should have been put through more into the movie.
Yeah, I did feel that about the movie actually. Captain Phasma was I thought was going to be quite a big character and play more of a pivotal role than she did. She didn't really have much of an effect on the film. And with a lot of the online backlash about the newest film, we could take that into the prequels and how they were, which were kind of notorious for not being the best of the Star Wars films. Would you care to tell us which of those, arguably the worst, is your favourite?
Well, the ones which are my favorites would be The New Hope and the second one, which is I think is Phantom Menace.
Mm.
Those two are far are the best ones, well, I think, out of the franchise. But for the cinematics, as talking about the newest film, the cinematics when they spoilers, where one of the ships hits a larger ship. I've whole the whole of like everyone was quiet for the whole movie. It stunned people.
Yeah, I remember sitting in the cinema myself and seeing that happen. It was complete silence, and I feel like the way they put that in and decided to go with just pure silence when that ship hit the other one, it was very cinematic and quite a shocking moment. It was a good choice to just use the silence. We could take that into the sound of the Star Wars films, which I love the sound of the Star Wars films. Like every sound effect I hear now gives me nostalgia thinking about the original films. Could you go into a bit more detail about how the sounds were made, perhaps?
Well, for the sounds, when the movies first came out, it was difficult for them to make any sound effects which was actually sci-fi related. So what they did for the sounds of the lasers or like the blaster bolts, they would actually get slinkies, the Matthew slinkies, and actually hit them, and that would actually make a blast.
Okay. Well, that's quite an interesting fact. I heard somewhere off the internet about the TIE fighters just being an elephant noise. I don't know whether that holds any truth in it.
Yeah, it's an elephant screaming but reversed and heightened pitch,
Okay.
which not many people know.
Yeah, that is quite an interesting fact about the Star Wars films and the way they did the sound. It was very creative. Now, that's all we have time for today, but thank you for being on the show, Michael.
Thank you.
Join us next week as we talk about the film adaptation of Echo the Dolphin. Good night.